Hi, my name is Raquel and welcome to Kanuka Home Practice. So for today's 30-minute power flow, Stu and I will be practicing a strength-based and cardio-based flow focused on some handstand hops. Now don't want to scare you off with handstand hops. We'll learn to get a good connection with the hands and just find a little bit of flow, whether that's 3 centimeters off the ground or if you're coming into your handstand hold. Don't really need any props, but if you're comfortable bringing in a blanket to help you or a block, feel free to do that and modify the practice for you. We're going to begin our practice in child's pose. Going to connect to the breath here. So feel free to take your knees out wide, or if you're comfortable having them right underneath the body, that's okay. Lower the belly down, extend your reach to the top of the mat, and press the forehead or third eye gently down onto the floor. Begin to bring awareness to your breath here. Taking time to observe how it's flowing in and out of the body. Starting to notice sensations in the back body, the arms, the hips. Starting to find a pace of breath that works for you in your practice today. And once you feel you arrived for your practice right here, right now, I invite you to activate the child's pose, starting to bring more engagement into the body. So you can take those fingers a little further up towards the top of the mat, pressing the palms and the fingertips down so that the forearms and wrists rise up. Drawing the hips back further into the heels here, so it's a more exaggerated lengthening of the spine. So we start to find more opening in the hips, more length from the pelvis through the crown of the head, and begin to warm up our core. Taking a few more breaths here in an active child's pose. And we'll transition into tabletop. So you can place the hands under the shoulders or slide them back. Bringing hands under shoulders and knees underneath the hips. Finding your neutral tabletop. So the spine's long from the pelvis through the crown of the head. Fingers spread out wide here, pressing the palms and fingertips like a grip down into the mat. And here in your tabletop, we're going to just become reacquainted with the Scapula Lift. So going to lift up the upper back away from the floor as if you're creating a bit more space between the shoulder blades, drawing the chest away from the mat. And releasing that so that you find a little bit more of a neutral back. And lift up, scapula lift, drawing the tops of the back of the shoulders away from the mat. Pressing evenly through the hands, and you can release that. Going into a few rounds of cat-cow now. So go at your own pace, or maybe on the next inhale, begin to drop the belly. Lift up the tailbone as the chest faces forward, drawing the shoulders away from the mat. Exhale, dome through the back, especially up the upper back. Tucking the tailbone and chin in, and come back into your cow pose, dropping the belly, lifting up the chest. And maybe you transition from the tops of the shoulders, starting there, doming through the rest of the back. And from the tops of the shoulders, maybe the chest comes down, the belly comes down, and then the tailbone lifts. From the tops of the shoulders, lift the chest away from the mat, and then allow the rest of the spine to dome back, tucking the tailbone in. And continuing with a few rounds of cat-cow, taking any free movements here that create more space for your body. Maybe there's sways, rolls, whatever works for you in your cat-cow. And once you feel like you've found enough movement here in cat-cow, we'll meet back in our neutral tabletop. Again, bringing that awareness back into the connection of your hands, feeling grounded and connected here. And extend the right leg back. Toes are gonna be down, finding your balance here. And then we're gonna swing the left calf out to the outer edge of the mat. Lift the right arm up into the air, finding a half moon variation. So you might like to press the sole of the right foot down evenly, just like the front hand. And if you're feeling balanced here, you might explore lifting up the right leg. But you're more than welcome to keep that leg grounded as you lift the right arm up. Slight tuck of the tailbone, so it's a feeling of crunching the belly to activate the core and find alignment from the heel all the way through the crown of the head. Return that top hand back down into the mat. Step the right foot forward for a low lunge. Left hand onto the inside of the foot. Press it firmly down into the mat. Let's find that revolved twist. Right arm up into the air. Make any little adjustments here that make you feel a little bit more centered and grounded. So maybe it's drawing that right hip back, pressing into the left hand, lifting the right arm up into the air. And then bring that hand back down to center the front foot. Keeping the foot where it is, shift the hips back, straighten out the front leg, and then lift the toes up towards the face, finding your half split. If half hero is in your practice, you can bring the bum all the way down to the floor. We're going for an extension or lengthening of the back of your right leg. So take whatever variation feels good as we lengthen out those hamstrings. Full breaths here. And when you're ready, going to bend through that extended leg. Take the hands back to the top of the mat. Step back into your tabletop. And regress to vinyasa here. So shifting slightly forward, lower the body down. Inhale for your low cobra. Sternum comes forward. And press back into child's pose for a moment. Breathing here. We'll do that again on the left side. Let's meet in tabletop. Hands underneath the shoulders. Extending the left leg back. Toes down. Find your balance here. And then we're going to swing the right calf to the outer edge of the mat. Lift the left arm up into the air. Finding your half moon variation. You can press the sole of the left foot down onto the mat, or if you're feeling stable, lifting up the top leg. Slight tuck of the tailbone, engaging the core, little crunch of the belly here. And let's bring the top hand back down to the mat and bring the left leg forward for a low lunge. Find your balance and then bring the right hand down to the inside of the foot. Lift the left arm up, finding your revolved twist. Maybe plugging that left hip back so the pelvis is more neutral. Explore any movements here that make you feel more grounded. And then bring that top hand down to frame the front foot, keeping the heel where it is, straighten out that leg, shifting the hips back, finding your half split. Or if you're comfortable going into half hero, bring the bum all the way down to the ground. The aim here is to find a little bit more space through the back of the leg. And wherever you are, just aiming to keep that sternum facing forward, shoulders relaxed, drawing down away from the ears, and the hips are neutral. So you might need to plug that left hip back. A few more deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, bending through that long leg, bringing the hands to the top of the mat, come back into your tabletop. One more regressed vinyasa, lowering the body down through chaturanga, inhaling up for your low back extension, and press back into child's pose one more time. So that ends our warm-up for this power flow. We'll begin our sequence. Let's start with the down dog. Tucking the toes, pressing evenly through the hands, lift the hips up. So you can take any movements here with the legs that help you find more length in the spine and more space in the back of the legs. Taking any movements here in your down dog to help you find the shape. And thinking about that scapula lift, you can even draw the tops of the shoulders away from the mat. Grip those hands down into the floor, finding your astabandha or hand lock. A little grip of the fingers and palms just to bring more stability. And when you're ready, begin to walk forward, finding your forward fold. Coming to the top of the mat, modify your forward fold to suit your body today. That might mean a little bend in the knees, or your elbows rest on the tops of your thighs. Take whatever forward fold works for you, allowing the crown of the head to fall forward. A few breaths here as we become comfortable in this inversion, this upside down perspective. And when you're ready, ground down through your feet and begin to roll on up to standing. Taking your time, arms can rise up. Maybe you inhale here at the top. Exhale, press those palms together. Find your center line down to the heart. Take a few breaths here in your Tadasana. Great time to notice your connection of the feet down into the mat and a lengthening up through the body, through the crown of the head. As we reset and resettle. And on your next inhale, let's lift the arms up and begin our flow. Exhale, forward fold, hinging at the waist. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop back into your high plank. And vinyasa, lowering the body down through chaturanga, inhaling up for your back extension of your choice, meeting in down dog. Step the right foot forward in between the hands. You can lower the knee. Finding your stability, bring the left hand down to the inside of the foot, right arm up for revolved lunge. Stacking the shoulders here, Noticing that connection with the hand down onto the floor. And switching hand placements, let's bring the right hand down to the inside of the foot. Lift the back knee, find side angle. Left arm up as the left heel spins down to the floor. So from this side angle, we're going to move into half moon using the ground as support. So bring the right hand about a foot forward. Feel that connection with the ground. You might be more comfortable on your fingertips. I quite like to press the palm down. And left arm up into the air. Begin to lift up the back leg. You might like a little micro bend in your standing leg as you find your half moon. Chest opens up to the left side, shoulders stack. And from this half moon pose, transitioning into standing split. Turn the hips downwards as the left hand finds the floor. Feel a connection with those hands. Use that ground as support. Little bend in that front leg's okay as we explore standing split. Doesn't matter how high your back leg goes. You can have both knees bent here if you want. Or if your range is there, lifting up the left heel, drawing the crown of the head forward. And if handstand hops are in your practice, press into the palms, lengthen out the arms, and bend through your standing leg, kicking the left heel up into the air. Maybe trying 1 to 3 of these, finding a little float. Once you're done, allowing the left foot to come down onto the mat, lift up into your high crescent lunge. Back heels lifted, hips facing forward. Exhale, vinyasa. Whatever your vinyasa looks like today. Meeting in down dog. Pressing those hands evenly into the mat, gripping the palms and fingers down, extending the arms. You can bend through both knees. Take a big hop to the front or step forward, forward fold. Rise on up to standing. Nice and slow. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down towards the chest. Take a few breaths here in your Tadasana. Allowing the body and mind to reset before we move into the left side. And when you're ready or on the next inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And bring the hands to the mat, step or hop back into your high plank. And vinyasa. Meeting in down dog when you're ready. Stepping the left foot in between your hands. Lower the back knee. Find your stability. Place the right hand securely on the inside of your front foot. Lift the left arm up in the air for your revolved lunge. Lifting those fingers up. Pressing down with the grounded hand. We're going to switch placements of the hand. Bring the left hand to the inside of the foot. Raise the back knee, right arm up as the heel spins down for your side angle. Tuck that tailbone in, little crunch of the belly here. And moving into half moon, using the floor as support. Gonna bring that left hand about a foot forward. Feel a solid connection with the ground. Once you do, by shifting a little bit forward, you can lift the back leg up into the air, finding half moon. You may need a little bend in that front leg, totally okay. And transitioning into standing split. Turn the hips down as the right hand comes down onto the floor. Feel that connection with the hands as the toes and fingers face to the front of the mat. Lifted toes are pointing down, and it doesn't matter how high that back heel goes. We're just looking for a connection with the hands here. Now, handstand hops are in your practice. Press down into your palms, extend those arms, find that scapula lift, lifting the tops of the shoulders away from the mat, and bend that standing leg and hop the right heel up. Finding 1 to 3 of these hops. And when you're ready, place that right foot back behind. Come into your high crescent lunge, hips facing forward. Breathing here. And vinyasa. Last vinyasa of today. So get whatever you need out of it. And we'll meet in child's pose. So, if you'd like to get a few more rounds in, you can do that flow again, or follow me as we wind down our practice. Taking a few breaths here. Letting go of any judgments or negative thoughts that might have brought up. Maybe letting go of ego. Just clearing space. Coming more into a restorative frame of mind. And you can begin to lift up the torso, making your own way onto your back. So taking whatever path you choose here, extending the legs out long. You might like to come into a boat pose on the way down onto your back, slowly lowering the torso down. Maybe the heels lift up, taking your time, or just make it straight onto your back. And when you finally fully recline down onto the mat, allow yourself some deep, nourishing breaths. And then we'll draw the right knee into the chest, squeezing the knee in towards the body, extending that left leg out long. Bring the right arm out to your side and guide the knee across the body, coming into a supine twist. Aiming to keep the back of those shoulders on the mat. You might like to take a different variation of twist. There are many to choose from. So make this your own practice and do what's best for you. A few breaths here. You might start to notice your body and mind coming into stillness, starting to slow down, and sitting with those sensations. And bringing both the knees back to center. Feel free to take any little movements here that might massage the lower back or anywhere along the back. And extend the right leg out long. Squeeze the left knee into the chest. Place the left arm out to your side and guide the knee over the body, coming into your other supine twist. Feel free to take any other variation that feels good for you. And then come into your peace and stillness here. Taking a few deep, nourishing breaths. And bringing the knees back to center, giving them another little squeeze. And then placing the soles of the feet down onto the mat, bending the knees. We'll go into one round of bridge. So take the palms facing down by your hips. Start to notice the connection of the feet into the mat. And maybe on your next inhale or when you're ready, press into the feet. Begin to lift up the hips, drawing the thighs towards each other as the belly rises. Finding some big breaths here. Coming up as high that is comfortable for you. Squeezing the bum. Finding length through the back of the neck. Maybe a slight tuck of the chin. Few rounds here, holding in your bridge. And when you're ready or on your next exhale, begin to lay the spine down gently onto the mat. Feeling the lower back press into the mat here. And just taking a moment here in constructive rest. So feel free to take any other movements that are calling to you today, or wind down practice with me in waterfall, lifting the soles of the feet up into the sky, extending the legs, finding that point of gravity that requires very little effort but allows the legs to be steady. Enjoying this inversion. You may like to bring the arms into this as well. So feel free to move into a final resting pose or shavasana if you would like to close down practice like that, or follow me as we share a few breaths in a comfortable seat to seal our practice. So making your way gently into your comfortable seat. I invite you to close down the eyes or soften the gaze, allowing the hands to rest on the knees, bringing your focus back to the breath here as you find a slow and steady pace that works for you. Just taking a moment of gratitude for making time for your practice. Some gratitude for your body and the amazing ways it moves. And some gratitude for the mind that carries you throughout practice. And feel free to stay here in your seated meditation for as long as you'd like. Ready to seal your practice. Let's take one last shared breath together. Inhaling deeply through the nose. Exhaling out of the mouth. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. Namaste. Thank you again.